Welcome to Asylum TV. I'm your host, Brian Carr. Today, we're not going to be adding any horsepower, not going to be putting any lift on, we're not adding any body armor. Today's about camping. Now, I'm not talking camping maybe a couple nights in a tent and you go home. I'm talking 7 to 10 day excursions out in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes you need to get a little clean. All you got around you is maybe some cold water running off a stream or a river. Well, sometimes you just got to take a hot shower. Now, thanks to the Synergy Manufacturing Sit Shower Shave Kit, you can do just that. We're going to install the kit, and we're going to show you how it all works, how to install it all, and what you can do to add your power options. Now, the kit comes with just about everything you need. Of course, you've got your bucket here. It's got a nice little seat in it too, and of course comes with the waste disposal bags. Then you've got your pump, your heat exchanger, your sump hose, your shower head, and all your fittings. It also comes with a filter so you can get the good filtered water in before you start using it. Now, of course, we picked up a couple of our extras that we're going to show you how we install them later and get the whole kit up and running. Then we're going to give it a good test. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is drain a little bit of your coolant because we're going to be removing the heater hose and rerunning it to run through the heat exchanger here. So now, next thing you need to do is find a suitable mounting location for the heat exchanger. Now on the Jeep JK, you got a lot of nice space right up under the battery here, so that's where we're going to be mounting that. So then hot coolant's going to run through here, get the heat exchanger warmed up, and we'll get hot water coming out. So this is going to fit nicely right in here. So we'll be marking off our holes, drilling it in, and getting it all set up here. So we're going to reroute our factory heater hose into the top of the heat exchanger here. Now, one note about tightening on your hose fittings. Just like any kind of plumbing, you want to get it tight but not over torque it. Get it on hand tight, then do one full rotation. You should be good to go. We also made sure we wrap some plumbing tape around the threads, as with any plumbing. So now we're going to route the heater hose. And now to rerun the coolant back to our core, just picked up some heater hose at our local auto parts store. The kit comes with the hose clamps, so all you got to do is fit it on there, put it back in, and reroute it. Now, one of the other things we did, we left the tire on, we didn't use the lift. We wanted to show you guys that this is a job that can be done in your home garage, in your driveway. Did have a little help from the throttle monkey in getting the screws and bolts in. So. Alright, one more thing you want to make sure you do after you get your hoses all reconnected is make sure that you've moved them up out of harm's way, especially the factory hose. It's a form-fitted hose, so it tends to stay in its one direction. Just make sure that it's not touching the exhaust manifold anywhere where it can get hot and start to melt. Now, right here, you put the dust covers on. They stay on there until you're ready to use it. You simply latch them, remove, and we're going to put other hose fittings on. Put it back on here, tighten it down, tighten it down. The hoses go right on there. So you got the one for the top, of course, where the water's going to come in, and the bottom here where the water's going to come out for the shower nozzle. Alright, now it's time to deal with our hoses and our power supply. The first set of hose you get is going to be your 50-foot length of sump hose. Now what you want to do is cut that into two pieces. You got one you want to have for your long piece, going to be about a 40-foot piece. That's going to go from your pump down to your water source. At the end of that is going to have your initial filter on it. Some of these fittings are going to be a little tight, so you may want to heat the hose up just to get it around that fitting. The other end, of course, is going to go to your barb fitting, which is going to go into our other smaller filter here and then straight into the pump. Your next section is going to be about a 10-foot piece. That's going to go from the pump into the heat exchanger. Again, we got a barb fitting end that we're going to use our hose clamp on. It's going to go into the pump, and then you've got your other clamp end that's going to go into the heat exchanger. Then, of course, we've got our shower hose line. Again, it's another one that's going to be kind of a tight fit, so heat the hose up, whether you got a heat gun or something else you want to heat it up with. Make sure it fits nice and snug on there. This is going to be the end that's coming out of the heat exchanger, allow you to take a nice shower. Then, of course, we've got our pump itself. Now, the pump does come with a small electrical fitting there. You can plug it into a cigarette lighter switch. What we chose to do was to splice into the wires themselves and add some battery clamps. So now we can just set it on the ground because that's where you're going to get your best pumping action, and you got to let it prime for a bit, and then we can just run these right up to the battery, run it directly off the battery of the Jeep. And then what's great is that at the end you can just take everything off here on the bucket. Everything's going to fit right into the bucket, and that's how you can haul everything around. The only thing that needs to stay on the Jeep or the truck itself is the heat exchanger. You don't need to put the pump on it. Again, you want to have it kind of low on the ground to get the best priming action and to get all the water out of your water source. All right, so of course we want to test the whole system out. We've got our test set up here in the garage. So we've got our pump hooked up to a bucket of water. We've got the filter here dumped in the water. All our fittings secured in right here on the heat exchanger, and our battery clamps hooked up. And there we go. We have running hot water. And once you're done, everything fits nice and neatly right inside the bucket. And of course, you've got the seat here in case you need to do a little something you can't do in the woods. All right, so there you have the full test of the Synergy Manufacturing Sit Shower Shave Kit. You can find the kit online at polyperformance.com, and it'll come with everything you need to get it going. I'd like to thank our own Throttle Monkey for helping out today. He was a big hand. And if you have any questions about our install, you can find us online at jeepasylum.com. I'm Brian Carr, and thanks for watching.